We are live.
Yes.
Yes. No, but we have a microphone. Okay. Hey guys, so it's live at 5 and time for the Maike Lilli Show.
This is the 9th edition in the middle of May. Welcome back, or thanks for joining. We do this twice a month on the 14th and the last day of the month. We talk about business, things that are current. And today we have a really great topic, don't we?
We do, and as you can see, we have something to celebrate. So today, together with you, we will celebrate what?
I've got all.
Oh my god.
The launch of our book.
I know. I know it's so overexciting.
So overwhelming.
But you don't need to cry. So, yeah, we want to celebrate with you the launch of our amazing book about time management, and the German title is Zeitmanagement, den Zeitdieben auf der Spur. But,
yes,
there is a but. So normally there must be now the...
Oh, so I'll do the sound.
Yes. We cannot celebrate.
Not right now?
Not right now.
Because?
Not because we don't like champagne or...
To celebrate.
To celebrate. But, yeah, do this also on the side. It's really sad.
Our book is not here.
No. So, a lot of you out there, you have already the book, and we received also great feedback, so thank you for this. But because there are so many people who want to have the book, we as the authors were not able to get one.
Well, we brought it with us in a form, and since we're really flexible and one of our mottos to life is change is the only constant, we thought, okay, well, let's turn this negative into a positive, and let's not talk about the book on time management specifically, but let's talk about how to write a book in general, or how we wrote a book. And the special thing about our book,
we did it in 50 days. So we want to share with you guys how we wrote the book in 50 days. And maybe we can give you a bit of inspiration
and advice, not only if you want to write a book, but maybe also for other projects in your life. And yeah, let's dig right into it.
So what is it needed to write a book?
Yeah, and how did we do it?
First of all, you need a plan. And ours were looking like that. We just want to share a piece of it.
So all of that was our first brainstorming on, of course, the topic, the title, what do we want to talk about, what do we want to focus on, and also how do we want to divide the chapters.
And of course, also, if you have a plan, that's amazing. But then to go deeper and also think about the title, so or the topic of the book. And as it was the two of us, we had also to think about how to divide the chapters and how to kind of combine our writing styles, because they are kind of slightly different.
But more importantly, or at least for us, is important because if you've known us for some time, we've been out there for 2 years, and we've often been talking about writing a book. Sometimes we were joking, but we were getting more and more serious. And the number one thing, why we actually wrote it at this moment in time, was not because we finally got our things together, but because we prepared it for something super big that we really wanted to be part of. And we said, okay, if we have that book on that day, that would be amazing for us, for our company, for our marketing and branding, and also ka-ching,
for the passive income. And we come to the second point. So besides the plan, you need to have a target, and a specific target. And our specific target was Ta-da! Women and Work on the 9th of May. And so, for those who are not familiar with this amazing event, this is a career, is it a trade show? Can you say it? Fair, trade show, gathering of big companies all over Germany, and especially for females who wants to work on their career, to start in a job. And so the whole program is specifically created for them.
And we're cooperation partners, so this means that we have a booth and also a part of a workshop team and to conduct our own workshop about our programs. And one of the most important things is you must know this trade show is advertised all over Germany, and about 8,000 people are expected to be there every day.
And so our idea was, or our target and imagination, that we have the beautiful book together with us on the 9th of May. So it was last Saturday, right? So last Saturday at our booth, and that we could share it with you, that you could have a look on it, and of course that you could get the book. So we had a special promotion for the book also on the day. But Murphy was not with us.
It was
Or Corona.
Corona, better said. But of course, we did not know that when we were thinking, firstly, about writing a book at the end of December. And like we were asked, well, when do you want to have the book? And I'm really glad that we got this question, because other than that, I'm convinced we would have maybe not finished it, maybe not even started it. So yeah, really great for that one. And this is actually what we want to give also to you, independently of whether you want to write a book, whatever your target is. Either you have a target.
The frog is in there.
Yeah, the frog should be talking. So either you have a target or make sure you pick one. And then from the target backwards, this is actually the third point, is to break it down. And what did we realize when we said, okay, 9th of May, we gave it to the publishing company and we considered the date it was. What was our finding?
That we have only 50 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did we decide it, or read on book? Was it in January?
Early January, we signed the contract. So also, considering that it was also vacation time, skiing time, and a lot, it came down to 50 days of writing a book.
Yes, and then we came to the third point. So first of all, plan, target, measure, and now writing. And so writing, this is really a tricky part. So neither Maike nor me, we are journalists or authors. So the longest thing I've ever written in my life, this was my bachelor thesis of 30 pages. How many pages did you?
Well, I wrote a bachelor and a master thesis, so I wrote a bit more. But actually, I was so sick of it all the research, especially if you do it scientifically. There's like hundreds of pages and hundreds of thousands of books you need to read, and you summarize what someone else has already done, and then finally comes your input part. I was so sick of it, I said, never gonna do it again.
Me too. And so partly, honestly speaking, when I was writing my part, I remembered those times because it was winter, it was cold, and it was from the morning until the evening. And sometimes you don't have inspiration. So sometimes you have it like that, so it comes and comes and comes. And sometimes you sit there, you write 2 words, and that's all. And then it's also, advisable to let it go or to change the location. So we had a session, how many hours? I think 4 or 5 in the library. But was it really productive?
Well, no. Like for us, it's not so much the environment as such, but it's really getting your mind onto it, and also knowing that sometimes you cannot force it. If you're not creative, you're not creative. Then you really need to step back, do other things. But this time, if you have 50 days, you must also allow time for days when you do nothing, or then you need to catch up on the next day. So that was a tough one, and I think later on we can also maybe share how we actually did it, being the 2 of us. But to kind of get rid of what's been building up in front of us, because we do have the book, we just don't have it nice and fancy. We have this thing, which is our manuscript. So it's like 200 to 300 pages, I do not quite remember. 200 printed out. You can see we actually did some corrections. We had a few bookmarks. This is what we thought. I think it was March 1st or so. We said, okay, we're done. And it took us 2 whole weeks to read through that, to rearrange, and of course, to go through grammar and spelling mistakes. So this is really what we advise. Allow time to do that. It may not be environmentally super friendly, but we're gonna keep it. We're gonna share it until the end of our time. And it's actually, it actually shows you the result, because the disadvantage of being online is you don't really see your result. Here you actually see it. It's tangible.
Yes, and the final results, we wanted to have it in hand and present it, but you can see it here on the screen, or the screen is black. You cannot see it? No.
Yes.
Oh, yes. So this is why we are live, yeah. So this is our book, so it looks like that. You can get it on Amazon, just enter our names or
follow the link.
Zeitmanagement, den Zeitdieben auf der Spur. And so we are really proud, and also to get the cover ready, even though we were working with the publisher, which we will talk about later, was really a long process, right? So on the way, everything on the way, and it's really incredible what is all behind the book.
Absolutely.
Yes, and so as we don't have the book, but
we would be ready for passive income, so money flowing our way. Because what we said, okay, we're only going to publish a book if we can actually use it and we can actually sell it on our events. Because we're out there, we've been international a lot. This year is mostly going to be Germany, but anyways, people who know us or who meet us and want to read the book, want to improve their time management skills, they can buy off the book immediately from us. And in order to be correct with German tax legislation, we created this amazing thing. It's always the same. It's always the same cover. It's a book with receipts. So when you buy a book from us, you'll get a perfectly nice pre-printed receipt.
Yes. Yes, and so finally then the book itself, we will get it tomorrow, so we will have it with us tomorrow, and we will be at a local event tomorrow here in Frankfurt, where we finally can really launch the book, so to say.
So we take one step at a time, but we haven't told people why did we actually write the book.
Yeah. So why did we write a book?
So why did we write the book?
Of course, everybody has different motivation for such a project, and this is a real project. So for those of you who have already written a book, you know what we are talking about. Some people have walked through a really hard time in their life, took some learnings or developed some skills they want to share with the other people. Others, they have such a great fantasy and create amazing novels, or fantasy novels, or crime novels. Yeah? So it depends if you have a really great fantasy and you need a channel for it. That's also a great motivation to write a book.
Or if it's part of your sales strategy, if you want to get the word out there, if you want to become an authority in a certain field, of course a book also helps. And the last point, like we've kind of been indicating that this is really a joke and this can never be, it should never be your full motivation, is to have a passive income stream. Passive income means, you promote the book once, you write it before that, and then it kind of sells itself. and you have no additional work for that. This is not a perfect motivation for many things, because first of all, anyone who ever does a calculation realizes that you need to sell millions of books. You need to be like really amazing. You need like to be the author of Harry Potter to actually really make an amazing living out of that. And this will not keep you through the dark hours, the dark days, writing the book when you don't have any idea of what to write. So this is really, as Lilli said, focus on your why, like what do you stand for, what do you want to share with the world. If you want to, just share it with yourself, write a diary. But if you actually want to share it with the world and actually want people to pay for it, make sure it's something meaningful to you, but mostly to them.
Yes, and what was our motivation, or what was our why? And so we always wanted to contribute with something really implementable and meaningful. And so those of you who know us, and this is also part of our or the basic of our coaching and consulting services, that we always say everything we give to you is implementable. And this is also how the book is. It's implementable. So you will find things you can immediately take action on. But so talking about the why, but how? How can you write a book? Of course, you will say, okay, sit there and just start typing. Mm-hmm. But is it that easy?
It's not that easy. Like I've been trying to write a travel book for years. And I also had some...
maybe you will.
Yeah, maybe I will now. Like once I've
and now the borders are closed. Nobody can travel.
Yeah, no one can travel anymore.
So maybe that would be where you have been and how it looks like that.
So a topic,
a sidetrack. So how to write a book about time management?
Yeah. So how to actually do it? Of course, sitting down writing is one thing, but how it is going to reach the world. Do you really want to do it all on your own? You want to go to your local print store and print 900 copies and hope that sells? That of course would have been like 10, 15 years ago. Now you could do it via, let's say, Amazon self-publishing or other means. You could actually hire a coach and pay them, I don't know how much they charge, for actually teaching you the skills and then also creating a sales funnel for you. Or you can either approach or be approached by a publisher who says, well, I like you, I like your topic, or I have this topic, would you be willing to write about that? And this last thing, so a publisher approached us, was really what then we said finally, okay, let's do it. Because there's a need out there for the topic time management. We've written a lot of scripts on time management already. We're pros in time management anyway. A lot of people are approaching us and saying, how do you do that? You're everywhere and you do so many things and you don't only talk about it, you also implement it immediately. How do you do that? And then we said, okay, well, time management is actually the perfect topic for us. And the fact that we don't get to keep the money basically and only earn a fraction was a good trade-off. Because what you get if you go with a publishing company is they do everything, like from the editing, the spelling checking and stuff like this, the cover, launching it on Amazon, marketing campaigns and stuff. Could we have done it on our own?
Of course, of course,
but not in this way, and
not in this
50
time.
days.
And also, you have to calculate back and forth as well. So, what do you want to achieve with that? Do you want to really have authority with it? And this brings me to the next. So, we have the why, the how, and the what. So, what is your topic? What is your target at the end of the day? And we wanted, or our target was to build up our authority in the field of coaching, consulting, and that the people really think about us in the context of business. And this is how the publisher is helping us, because of course everybody can publish a book nowadays via self-publishing, as Maike said, but this has also an aftertaste or another taste of a book, so from our opinion. So that's why for us it was or it's perfectly to go via a publisher and work together with them. So it's the Cherry Media Verlag, and yeah, let them also show us how this works. So we had no clue. Of course, we could have figured out, but it would take a lot of time, and yeah, that's why for us. So the what was for us really to go with a business book and over a publisher. So maybe little summary for you guys. So what are the 7 points if you want to start out a book? So it's first of all, make a plan. Second, it should be your turn, but okay, have a target. Third is writing. So start writing and also make a plan for your writing. So when is the best time for you to write? Then, of course, the manuscript. So make all the checks, writing, spelling, how it looks like. Then, of course, the cover. Yeah. So even if you design your cover by yourself, have a good thought about it, because this is the first thing possible readers see, and they need to have an immediate feeling what is it about, and it should be catchy. In our case, it was this beautiful receipt block, because we have a strategy behind, and of course the book at the end. So where is it? How does it look like? And what is your marketing strategy for it? But above all of it is your why. So really your motivation behind your how. So do you do it with a publisher? Do you do it by yourself? Do you write a book with somebody, or are you part of um, many people writing on a book towards a topic, for example? It's also possible. And also, what is the what? So what is the what for you, and should it be a novel, should it be a business book, or what kind of a book is it as well? Maike, but what to expect from our book?
Yeah, so of course we want to dive into it in our next live show, but we don't want to leave you stranded. So you get some ideas and maybe also starting tips for now, and also some incentive to join us in 2 weeks' time.
So the next show will be in German, and we will talk or target specifically whom? Do you want to share?
The entrepreneurs, the employees, and the business owner. So basically everyone in business, you might say. And if you know us, if you've heard of Compreneur, you know the answer is yes. Because we strongly believe that the worlds, or you could call them, they should interact and they can profit tremendously from one another. So learning the skills from the corporate implemented if you're a solo entrepreneur. The adventure spirit, the bravery you have if you have your own company, translated into company ship, being an employee, but thinking, okay, you know, I'm really putting all effort into it like it was my company. We strongly believe this is the case, and this is what we stand for. And this is why Compreneur is also, of course, part of the book. And we've given specific tips for employees, entrepreneurs, and people who run companies. But we've also always had a general chapter on time management.
Yes, in the next show, so we invite you to join us, and also we can maybe take a few of you in the show.
So with the book in the meantime?
Yes.
Or collect questions?
Yes, and yeah, so it would be really great to have an interactive show next time, and the show will be in German, and we will talk about your challenges, or maybe if you have already read the book, also your opinion or your feedback on which tips are really useful and implementable, or which of them you are already living by. And yeah, so we're really excited about it, and looking forward to it. And yeah,
absolutely. And be prepared for 26 topics, different tips, 300 pages, all nicely divided.
Don't
with a lot
scare
of
the people.
Motivational quotes.
With the pages, they should get it and they should see it. But by the way, I just think about that we can celebrate a book launch.
What do you mean?
You know, you guys maybe don't know, but Maike is already an author. She published a book 2 years ago, and we never really valued and never really celebrated it.
Yeah, but I never talked about it in public. I think.
Yeah, but why not?
No. Where did you get that?
Ta-da! We have Maike's book, Regional Multinationals, and talking about master thesis. That's Maike's master thesis. How many years ago?
Well, I wrote it in 2012. Was published 2 years ago, and the reason why it's out there, and it's actually, you know,
It's in English.
yeah, everyone could read it. But the reason, I think I should write an article about it. I'll write an article on LinkedIn. By tomorrow, I'll try to dig into it. But you know, maybe it actually can go in tandem. We can do both, so to say. So today we celebrate regional multinationals are German companies. Global, of course, it's a very important topic nowadays with Corona, what is going on. And I talked about whether the German DAX 30 companies are actually global or not. So the concept of regional multinationals.
Yeah.
And having that said,
Let's
maybe we should
celebrate.
also link, because you know, I'd really appreciate it if someone finally bought it.
Do you have the link for me?
I might have it. I might have it somewhere.
But we will put it at the then in the show. So guys, see you next time, not next week, and we will have our champagne now.
See you then.
Bye bye.